Hey, what's up, everybody?
Welcome back.
Listen, we are so glad that you guys came to be a part of another episode of Let's Conversate with Josh and Sharon, where we're just real people.
Hey, dealing with real issues.
Absolutely. So, listen, you guys, we are so excited about another podcast. We are working on Family Forever, and we're actually coming to a conclusion of this show.
Yes.
So we have had a awesome time with this all month long. So we're just going to go right into it and introduce our guest. Sharon, would you introduce our guest for us this morning?
Yes, this morning we have GB and Katrina.
Yes.
Good
Come
morning.
on.
Good morning.
We have AJ and Shauna Pierre. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning to all our celebrity guests.
We'll take it.
That's what y'all looking like today. Y'all looking like celebrity guests, each and every one of y'all. Listen, we are so thankful and glad that you guys came to be a part of another episode of Let's Conversate with Josh and Sharon. And AJ, I got to tell you, Miss Katrina, GB, I don't know if y'all noticed, but AJ and Shauna got an awesome background back there. You know, that looked
Yes.
some upgrading have been going on over there.
You know, that's actually inspiration from you and Sharon. That we said we need to upgrade our space.
Right. Well, our space has been downgraded today. We
don't do that. Don't do that.
We can't get the whole picture.
But we're on though. We're all on.
That's what matters.
We're absolutely glad to be on. We're glad to be on. And we're glad to have each and every one of you that's out there in the viewing land, viewing this podcast. And we're hoping that something that we say today that can be encouraging to somebody. And we're just going to continue on talking about this family forever. So Sharon, what is the topic today that we're going to be talking about?
Today we're talking about parenting.
Parenting. Oh, man. Dealing with parenting, right? It's so many ways that we can deal with parenting. There's so many forms, so many techniques we can use while parenting. And then there are so many ways that we can address talking about parenting. You know, what is good parenting? You know, what is bad parenting? You know, how should we parent? Should we implement discipline? And if we implement discipline when dealing with our children, how should we discipline? What is the right way? What is the wrong way? You know, it's so many ways that we can address this here. So, but we could not, unfortunately, everybody come at it from all those different ways. So we just came up with a list of questions that we're going to just focus on dealing with parenting. So we're not going to go all over the world with it. All right. So without further ado, we're going to just dive right into these questions if everybody's okay with that.
Let's do it.
All right. So here's a couple of questions for the next podcast that we're doing here, which is today of October the 29th. This year is getting by.
Yes, it is.
Very fast.
Moving quick.
Right. So what we're going to do, we're just going to put a question out there. Last time when we did the podcast, everybody, we did it and we directed questions to each individual. But today we're going to do it a little differently. We're just going to put a question out there and everybody could just chime at it. And we're just going to have dialogue about the questions that we have. So there's no particular order or person that has to answer the question. Okay, AJ? So we're going to just have
AJ, he's running from us, AJ. He's running from us.
Right.
So
we'll move graciously today.
Hey, so I'm going to let Sharon do the question action today because I did it last live we did. And I'm going to let her, put the question to us. Because I think, I think last time, Miss Shauna, you started it. And y'all came for me last time about these questions because I was asking the questions and y'all stopped. And I asked everybody a question. Everybody paused as if they were waiting on me to answer the question too.
Yep.
We just wanted to make sure you had a turn to share your wisdom, man of God. That's all.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna get Sharon the question this time, and that don't mean I'm gonna still answer. But listen, with such, and I'm gonna say this here. You know, I thank God for all four of you all, and because you guys speak with such wisdom, and a person that come behind that, they better know what they're talking about, because you can sound crazy. It's like playing music. You know, I like to frame around on the organ every now and then, you know, and keyboard. And then you got this master musician come in or something, you know, and he gets on there and just tear that organ up, right? Full solo. And then after he get to doing his thing, then he get up, and then everybody looking at you like you supposed to get back on there. I'm not getting back on there.
I'm done for the day. I'm done for the day. Pastor gonna have to preach with no music.
There you go. Teach you, Pastor, by putting him on there in front of me. Come on. That. I have had those experiences before. So, yeah. All right.
All right. So for our first question, how would you encourage a single parent?
How would you encourage a single parent? Okay. If it's okay, I'm gonna put a little validity to that question. So, how would you encourage a single parent to be a better parent? Because you can encourage a single parent in many different things. So I think that was a kind of left open question. We can encourage them, you know, on shopping, school clothes, or something like that, you know, or budgeting their money so they could have enough to, you know, put their kids in extra, you know, activities at school, you know, or encourage them when they don't have, they're less fortunate, you know, and want to give up or throw in the towel or something, you know. How we encourage them not only just to be better parents, but to know that everything will be okay, you know. Does that help the question a little bit better?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna say that the main thing that I would be suggesting, and what I do for single parents, is to really let them know that they are not alone. There are friends and family around all the time that are here to help. You know, I've seen a lot of parents that just try to just go out there and put on the cape, and they can do it all, and this is maybe their first time doing it. And I just kind of, you know, just try to tell them, you know, be humble and reach into your past of how you were brought up, and reach back and think about and what would you want for your children to be even better than you had. But the main thing is not alone in the process.
Yeah, that's good.
Nice. Anybody else want to chime in on that question?
Yeah, I was gonna say, as a single parent, I think, and I was a single parent for a very short period of time before we got married. I think one of the biggest gifts you can give a single parent when you're trying to help and support them is reminding them that there's grace there. You know, that you are gonna get a lot of stuff wrong, and that's okay. That's a part of the process. Your child is not gonna be ruined in the end. I used to feel like if I say the wrong thing or give the wrong look, you know, DJ's whole life is gonna be just, you know, horrible. It's going down the drain. And that wasn't the case. I was, like GB said, I was putting too much pressure on myself and not leaning on my village to help me raise this child. And so just encouraging them that there are better days ahead, you know, and you don't have to walk this journey by yourself.
Yeah, I would add to that, don't overcompensate. And I think a lot of times
what we
see is we see, like, you know, okay, well, the other parent may not be in the home or may not be present or may not even be active, right? Whatever the case may be. And so the parent who is present is trying to play both roles. But I think you have to realize there's certain roles that you weren't designed to play, right? So if you're mama, you're mama, right? If you're daddy, you're daddy. And what you do is you lean on that village, or you find mentors or other people who can fill those roles, right, that are needed. So if it's a father figure, that you need, then sometimes it's better to try to outsource that, right? Mentorship, grandfathers, uncles, right? Individuals who can come in and play that role. And, you know, in the reverse, right? If you're like, you know, I'm a dad, I don't have that motherly instinct. Well, hey, you have grandmothers, you have aunties, you have other women maybe in church or in the community that can help step in and fill some of those roles. But I would tell you or encourage you to not feel like you have to overcompensate and try to make up for the one who's not there, right? Run in your lane, play your role, and then allow the Lord to connect you to those that can fill those gaps, right? And fill those spots for you. And I think that would help release some of that tension, pressure, and fear, right? That you feel as you move forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. That's good. That's good. And just if I could just piggyback on what everyone has said, and I believe the central theme is it still takes a village to raise a child or to raise children. That is the central theme. And, you know, even as we're looking at wrapping up the month of October with Family4Eva, that's how we have arrived to where we are today as adults, because someone never let go of that. It takes a village to raise a child or children. And like you said, don't overcompensate. I remember as a single parent, I was a single parent for a long time. I didn't get married until my children were adults. So I was a single parent for like 32 years.
Yeah.
A son and a daughter. Fortunately, their father was present in their life and active in their life. So I'm fortunate on that end. But there were certain times when it was still just me. And I had a church as my, you know, outsourced or my squad, my vibe, you know. And then there were other things. I remember at one point I had to reach out to Big Brothers. And then there was a sisterhood organization for young girls that I reached out to for my daughter. So definitely that village, you know, and not thinking that you have to do it all, you know, because if it took two to make a child, you know, it takes even that and more to nourish and build and raise, you know, the children and things of that sort. So, yeah. So encouragement is still, it still takes a village, and it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times as a parent, you feel like you have to do it, and you don't. You don't.
Absolutely.
I had a wise woman that told me that, and that was liberating. She was like, you don't have to, God didn't create you to do it all, you know?
That's good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Very, very good points from everybody. And I would say one thing single parents have to be careful about, and AJ, you alluded to it, as a matter of fact, all you all alluded to it, is, you know, when you're talking about the role that they play, you know, stay in a role that they're supposed to stay in, because sometimes a single parent can become overprotective. And when you become overprotective, you can hinder, not intentionally, but you can hinder the child's capability or chances to expand and be all that they can be, because that single parent is overreaching sometimes, not by choice, but sometimes it seems to be by force, because that other parent is absent. So that one single parent is trying to fulfill multiple roles and not knowingly being overprotective, you know, of their child, you know, and they can hinder that child from being, you know, whatever it can be in growing up. You know, what do I mean by that? You know, I have experience where there have been single parents that would not allow their child to go and participate in sports because they were afraid that they was going to get hurt. You know, they would allow their child to go on field trips and away from them, out of the too far of their presence, because they were too afraid that something was going to happen. You know, and Miss Katrina was talking about that village, and it definitely takes that village, in my opinion. You know, to raise a kid. Even in a household with two parents, it still sometimes take a village. It still sometimes takes that coach at the high school. Sometimes it takes that dean, to see that kid might be, not acting itself in the hallways during school and not have to, give them a coaching, or something like that. Or it might be that mother at the church, to, say a few words to them to help get them, back in line to where they need to be. So it definitely takes a village. And if we can, say anything to the single parents that might be listening in, to, relax off it a little bit and allow your village to work for you.
Great point. Great point.
Good question, right?
Yeah, that was a good start. Yeah.
That was
absolutely.
Sharon's not playing.
I know. Hey, we all the way up now.
Come on.
Okay.
Lady Sharon.
We're not moving on yet. Sharon,
Lady Sharon.
You're not escaping, Sharon.
We're gonna. It's your turn.
Look, I'll say this. Look, I'll say, look, don't hide behind the mask. Come on out and talk to us.
I would say it definitely takes a village, with raising children, because parenting doesn't come with a manual. And I always tell my children that, and they're different ages, and I let them know basically, how my parents raised me, but I want them to go even further than that. So I always ask God to give me a strategy to help me with them, because I don't know everything, and I was a single parent for some years, and I tried to fulfill, the absent father in their lives and trying to do more. And it was exhausting, but I can tell you through it all that God gave me the strength. He gave me the grace and the mercy to be able to endure. So I was grateful that I was able to go through that season that I was in, because I'm definitely blessed now that I have someone here that loves my children, just like I love my children. But to say to the single parents that better days are ahead.
That's good. That's good.
Y'all messing with Sharon.
Come on. She was winding up. It was coming.
Oh, yes.
It was coming.
So listen, real quickly to my Facebook audience. We are live on Let's Conversate with Josh and Sharon on our Facebook page. If you want to see the whole show and be in tune with our guests and see our wonderful guests that we have on the show today, you have to go to the Let's Conversate with Josh and Sharon Facebook page. And there you can find the links that you need to actually get on the show. We hope to see you there. All right. So back to the show over here. All right. So listen, Sharon, what we got next? This is good.
All right. So for the second question, children as young as elementary, should they have cell phones, and how do you monitor, or should they not have a phone?
I'm first. You're gonna get mine out the way.
Now you're jumping in. Okay.
All right.
You took off your life preserver. You're coming in now. Okay.
Hold on. Let me pull these goggles off for a minute.
Okay.
I couldn't see. But listen. So I'm gonna give a direct answer to that. Absolutely no. They should not have one. But in certain circumstances, they may have to have one. We would prefer that children in elementary school, such as young ages, that they didn't, because I feel like that having those devices, being that I'm a father of young children that has those devices, by them having those devices, I do feel like it's a distraction, and it can be a distraction. Most times it is a distraction to learning, because we live in a day and time now that, these young kids, they don't want anything but a cell phone. And those of you all that have kids, and those of you all that are viewing probably could attest to this, that it's harder every year to even think about what you would get your young people, even for the holiday, for Christmas, because you think about it, these kids, they don't really want bikes. They don't want the traditional things that we came up with as kids. All they care about is electronics. And now it's even getting worse that the electronics, they don't even really care about anymore. They just care about the cell phone. That's electronic. But I mean, when I say electronics, they don't care about, I'm thinking about like the Game Cubes and the different other devices. They're not even into that no more. It's all about the cell phones. I think even tablets are becoming a thing of the past. It's just all about heads down into the cell phone. And that's a distraction. So when you got minors, young underage children, I think it's very important that if they have to have it. What was the question? Because I'm going on. Okay.
Hey!
What's the question?
I just gave you a whole synopsis. What was the question again?
So the sum up, I love it. Thank you guys. Listen, I appreciate you guys. I know we laugh, and so it was a little frustration at the beginning for me because all my bells and whistles wasn't working. And I'm sure for my normal audience that normally tunes into us, they probably like, well, what happened to the intro and what happened to this and what happened to that? We kind of trying to upgrade some things and we didn't quite get everything set up right prior to the show, so we wanted to go on. But I appreciate wonderful guests like this because as we go on with this show, we don't really even need that stuff, because we are our own bells and whistles, right?
We're gonna have a good time.
That's right.
But
to the point, because I know somebody was really getting in to what I was talking about. And to my point, it can be a distraction ultimately. But as single parents and parents, it's our responsibility to set up perimeters and to dedicate certain times that these kids will be able to use these devices. So to answer the question for me, I think they shouldn't have it, but I do realize that we're living in a time that it might be necessary, especially with like a lot of things that's going on in the schools, the shootings and different things like that that's going on in schools, and especially with of all these stuff that happened and the response that law enforcement gave, to getting into that school, and some of those parents, had no way to communicate with their children because their children did not have cell phones or whatever the case may be. For those reasons, I kind of like, allow it to happen, and many more reasons, but that's just my point.
I think to piggyback on that, I think as a parent, what you have to do is you have to ask yourself, what is the purpose of giving them this cell phone, right? So is this for safety or is this for entertainment, right? Because then it's two different things. If it's for safety, then I don't have to get you an iPhone, right? I don't have to get you something that can go on the internet.
Little flip.
You know what I mean? There's phone. I can go to Walmart right now and buy a little $50 phone
Green Frog
that will allow you to make a phone call, and it will allow you to send a text message.
Right.
Which technically
to us
in the fourth grade, that's all you need. Right. If I have to do it for safety. But I think the problem we have right now is that the cell phones are actually becoming babysitters. And so what's happening is the child is on the phone all day long, and now that's why you have so many concerns and you're worrying and you got to check on it. But if it's a safety issue, I remember our son when he got his first cell phone, it was one of the little flips,
right?
Like, so we programmed the numbers. We were like, here you go, hit 1 for mom, 2 for dad, 3 for grandma, 4 for granddad. That was it. Oh well, and he asked. I think he was like in the 6th grade. Well, Dad, how I get on the internet? Oh, you don't need no internet. Oh, there's no need for internet. You just need to call us if there's a problem, and we need to be able to call you. That's it. You know what I mean? And so I think you got to have some real conversations as a parent on like why you're doing it. And if it's for safety, then you don't need all the bells and whistles. You just need to be able to get in contact with them. And I think that's the better option anyways, because like you said, Josh, distraction, and when we're talking about distraction, we're talking about some serious stronghold distractions and doors that can be opened by giving too much access too early. And so we have to be, as parents, wise stewards over our children and making sure that we're still guiding them the way that it's going to be tough because they're going to be like, Mommy, everybody else at school got an iPhone. I'm the only one with a flip phone.
Yeah.
Hey, honey, you're the only one that's, blessed to be able to focus.
Wow. And before anybody else chime in on this question, I have to interject right here because this is good, and I thank God for all the viewers that we have. But I have to interject right here. What do you do? And because this is personal for me, all right. So what do you do for the softies out there? I'm a softie. I talk tough and I want to be tough and I'm trying to be tough, but when I go to be tough, sometimes I get soft, and I mean, and I'll be wanting to tell. Listen. I'm feeling you, Sharon. I forgot the way. I feel you because
Lady Sharon looking like.
I ain't looking over there at her. I'm looking at.
I like your answer right there.
When you know to do right, you should just do right? Come on, somebody, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I do not. Personally, I don't believe that young children should have cell phones. I think that they're not at the age yet where they can appreciate or understand the function of this device, and their brains are still developing and growing, and there's so many other activities that they need to be focused on so that they can get the maximum development in that time frame.
Yeah.
However, for the softies, Josh and I, okay, if you do fall into the parental pressure of giving your child a device, you have to be a wise steward, like AJ said, and pray for strategy, like Sharon said, because there are lots of really great tools that you can set up as parameters on that device for your child if they have it. But you got to take the time to do your due diligence and learn how to use it yourself, because a lot of parents, they don't even know how to use the phone. The child can, the child got 2 profiles. You can only see one, and you don't even know it's a ghost profile in there. Wow. So you have to take your time and get that information. And then allow the Holy Spirit to increase your discernment. So you're watching and you're managing their device usage. So that's
that situation that you have mentioned, AJ, it really sat home with me. And maybe GB and Katrina, you guys could elaborate on this. That stronghold, that really sat in my spirit. He said that they get involved in things. I might be kind of saying it a little different from how he said it, but they get involved in things that they see on those phones, and that develops a stronghold.
Yes.
Oh man, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right. One of the things that I made my mantra with my children was, I'm your parent, not your friend. Okay.
That's good.
So therefore,
that's good.
My job is not for you to like me or love me or none of that. My job, because I have to give an account to God, is to lead you in the way that you should go. Now, the P in parent don't mean perfect, but you better believe I'm going to strive for the best. Yes. So as it relates to the cell phone for the elementary age children, AJ brought out a good, he and Shauna, is it for safety? And if it's not for safety, what you need a cell phone for? I'm right here. You don't have to call me. Just come to the sofa. We could talk, Right. And if you're at school or whatever, they have phones now in the classroom. The teacher can call me if you're having an issue or what have you. But as it relates to that stronghold, and not just elementary, middle school, high school, college, and even into adult life, you have to guard your eyes, your ears, anything that can enter into your mind, your heart, your soul. You have to guard that. You could be, come on, TV. We're watching country western And then all of a sudden you see these naked women parading through on a commercial ad. What does that have to do with the show? But something as quick as that capture your attention.
Yeah.
And because the devil, I'm just going to say it like it is crafty, it just takes that one look.
Yep.
You know, that one click.
Yep.
That one, mama said, don't go on the internet. That time. And you could be, we have cases now of human traffic with young girls who made that one click. They thought they were looking at lipstick. And that lipstick, one click, got them connected with a group of people that were really trying to use them and exploit them. So parents out there, and I used to think that my kids hated me because I was trying to be the best single parent I could. But I'm going to tell you, the greatest blessing, and Lady Sharon, you said it earlier, it gets better. When they reach back and they say, I remember when my mama said, or I remember when my mama did, or I remember when my mama didn't. And I'm telling you, it's such a blessing.
Come on.
Because I would think that I was not giving them everything everybody else had. But it's a blessing when they turn around and they say, Mama, thank you for not giving me a cell phone till I was 16.
Wow.
Thank you for not letting me drive until I got to college. And I don't mean to cry.
That's okay.
But as a
Come on.
single parent,
Come on.
Authentic.
If you're listening to me, as Sharon said, it will get better. I'm a living witness. It will get better. But you got to go through it to get to that better place. So parents, you're not their friend. Okay? You don't have to be their friend.
That's good.
Whether they like you or love you, you do what you got to do, because when you are gone, they got to keep living, and what you put in them now is what's going to help them grow and develop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I'm done. I'm sorry.
Wow, that's good.
You want me to follow this? Really? Wow.
Right.
I'm done. I'm sorry.
That was powerful. I'm gonna just say a short spell, and then we can move on. You're fine. I'm gonna say that
You're fine.
having a phone at such an early age, I can only just reiterate what my parents told me. Your friend has a phone, you can use his. Your buddy down the street has a phone, you can use his. Because they didn't see a necessity, like you said about the safety and things. They didn't see the need for me to have those kind of things at such a young age, right? So that was one avenue. Then my dad said, okay, well, if you're going to get this or that, then we're going to take away this for that. So if you want the new something, and just I tell them something on an $800 phone, get those Jordans that you want now. We can't do that now. So I try to reiterate. It's in the right, and I put it on the child to make the decision of what they do, because now they're not going to look at me like I'm the bad person that decided. You decided, what you wish to have. Your boy Johnny's got the Jordans walking around putting in your face, but you wanted the phone that you just dropped and broke.
Wow.
So on the side of the fence when it comes to the parenting side, as she said, you're not their friend, but I try to groom, my son to make decisions at an early age. What's best? You want a $200 pair of shoes, or do we go down the street and get you 5 pairs of shoes for the same price? Now you're rocking a shoe every day. What's the problem with that? So just logically thinking about that. And then second, the devices, my grandkids, they're going to be in trouble with us because they get here, I'm cutting the Wi-Fi off when it's bedtime. That's it. Done.
Yes.
You got, and you don't, I need to see the homework because I'm going to be grading the papers. Forget the teacher. You got to go through us first to get back on your device. And then you only have now a certain amount of time to be on your device. So guess what? If you didn't finish your homework in that certain amount of time, in that window, you might only have 5 minutes of device time. Right. You know, and I call it a device, anything electronic. And Sharon and AJ, what you guys said about that, taking away the mindset from that, well, if their mindset is on that, it's not on what we need them to be doing. So I'm going to end with that.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting from all the answers is that, well, I know Shauna, she kind of like me. We just don't think they should have it at all, and Katrina. But if you're going to parents allow them to have it, then like AJ said and GB said, you can't allow it to be a babysitter.
Yeah.
You know, you got to have the perimeters. GB said cut off that Wi-Fi at a certain time. I agree with that. But you know, a lot of parents, and I think it was you, Shauna, that said that the children know more about devices than the parents do, and I think it's a responsibility of the parents to be able to. Now, my children don't know more than me about the devices. I'm telling you, I be on top of it. They think they don't erase something. I'm going to your Google search. I'm going beyond.
Right.
I'm going on in there. I'm
going incognito.
I'm cutting through some layers, right?
Or phone check at any moment.
Right.
And if it's phone check,
Absolutely.
we can check it at any moment.
Yeah.
Like at any, I can just walk through the house and your phone,
Boom.
and I'm going through. So you have no time to delete anything. I'm going right in, and what I find,
absolutely,
it's gonna be at the spur of the moment.
Yeah, and they try to get slick. You know, they be on one stream and you come in, and they hesitate. Anytime they listen, here's a nugget for all the parents out there.
Come on.
Right? I'm gonna help y'all out with this right here. This one free. The next one $2. So listen, I'm gonna help you out. Anytime you go to your children, sound like I'm from Tennessee.
Sure.
Anytime you go to your children and you ask for that device, if there's any hesitation, something wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Am I right about it? I'm
gonna take it one step further. If you ask your partner phone, and they hesitate, y'all need to have some conversation.
Say it again, AJ.
If you ask for your partner's phone, spouse, relationship, whatever, and there's a hesitation, we got to talk about something.
Absolutely. You know, I'm a firm believer in that, and I could talk real quickly if we move on to the next question. In my personal relationship with my wife, I thank God all the time. I think we talked about it the other day, and I thank God that we don't have those issues that some people have, trust issues. And there's not any given time that she can't grab my phone. Matter of fact, she knows so much. One lady said this here. She said, "That's scary." We were somewhere. We were doing something.
Who was at the store?
We was at somewhere. Was it dealing with my social security number or something like that? Yeah, we were somewhere, and the lady asked me. She asked me now. Me for my social security number. AJ, you hear me? She asked me.
But she gave it.
The whole 9 digits.
Well, let me just clear the air. Okay. Because I worked in finances before, like numbers to me, like I catch on to it, instantly. So I try now. Say I'm around other people, I dismiss that. But if it's like immediately, like my immediate family, it kind of like sticks there. But you know, I can't help it. I know it.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
You know what? No. Yeah. See, you part of it. You, AJ,
No, I don't own anything, man. I don't own anything.
I just kidding. But no, listen. All joking aside.
I tell our kids the reason that we have passwords on or our biometrics in our phone is for you all not to get into our phone.
Right.
We know each other's codes. You don't need to know that.
Right.
The password is for somebody else that's not a part of us to not get into our phone.
Right.
It's not for us not to get into our stuff.
Absolutely. So yeah, so it's good, and so from the sound of it, like we all have the same thing going here. So we don't have trust issues, and I agree. You know, she can go on my phone at any time. I go on her phone at any time. We don't worry about that stuff. I tell people all the time, you know, we're too old, man. It's too late in the day for foolishness.
Right.
You know, I mean,
right.
All that should have been.
I tell my friends, I don't have time to be Inspector Gadget. I don't have the energy. No, I don't. But I will say, I know today is about parenting, but I know that also other couples watch this. I will say that there have been different seasons. So in our marriage, it hasn't always been everybody phone just laying out. It's been some seasons. Yes, it's been some seasons where we were hitting rough patches and we didn't have that same level of trust. So if you do find yourself in that place where somebody's hesitating with their phone, then that really just means it's time to do a relationship check and really see where we are and check in with each other.
She hesitated this morning.
I did not. My password been the same for 14 years.
And listen, sometimes, well, that's different there now. Oh, I know we're talking about parenting. I'm gonna piggyback off of this one here. And I ain't meaning to turn this into no gender war or nothing like that. All right. But one thing about women, y'all might have a password for years, but we don't try to remember that stuff. You know, we better remember our own phone numbers. But on the other hand, on the other hand,
got us for. That's what you're for.
That's right, Miss Katrina.
We are the helpmeets.
We
help make sure you meet that
goal. Oh, I'm borrowing that. I am borrowing that.
All right, y'all. I think we got time for at least one more question. We're gonna do one more. Where we at? What we got? What are some other things? Let's do 5.
Okay. What are some other things children can earn when doing chores?
Oh,
that's it. That's a good one. Go ahead.
Yes. I was waiting on this one. What other things do children deserve when they're doing chores?
She said earn. She didn't say deserve.
Earn, deserve, whatever you want to call it. They earn a hot meal and a roof above.
Yes. Come on.
Now, all jokes aside. We never paid our child for chores. Only because we chose to take the approach of, hey, every member of this family has responsibilities and they contribute to the success of the house. Your contribution is taking the trash out and loading the dishwasher. That's your, and then mom and I, we handle, everything else, whatever the case may be. But from an earning standpoint, what we taught him early is you got to create ways to earn.
Yes.
Right? You got to create ways to earn. And so ever since he was like in middle school, he's always been very creative about finding ways to make money. So he would do stuff like, hey, mom, I know, or hey, dad, I noticed in the business, you have piles of things that need to be shredded. Can I shred those for you? Yeah. And that way make some money? Absolutely. Because you're working now, right? And I think we have to balance out teaching responsibility versus actual income earning activity, because those two, because if it gets to the point where now I have to pay you for every little thing you do in the house, I may not necessarily be steering you in the right direction. So for us, it was always like every member of the house has a responsibility. Those are yours, but hey, we'll show you how to make money, or we'll put you in position, right? And so even at 14, he was working. He's been working since he was 14. Just because he learned, oh snap, nobody's gonna give me anything. I'm gonna have to go work for some of the things that I want. And so that's the approach we kind of took in regards to chores and earning.
Wow, I tell you, man, you just opened up a part of my brain that before that wasn't open, because I never looked at that like that. And that was so profound. I mean, it makes me even sit here and like reevaluate how I'm looking at, chores versus earning money, because I can't find no fault in what you just said right there. Even though I have never looked at that like that. Wow. I mean,
and someone taught that to us.
Yeah. Because we're all in the family, right? And so as a family, certain things need to be done to make sure that the house is okay, right? That the house is running. So as members of the family, we all have a part to play. But in regards to making money, then let me show you how to actually go earn, right? What can you put your hands to labor in? And in that, right?
So it builds a muscle in your child. So now when they're out in the world, yes, of course you have chores, but now they're in their mind, they're like, okay, well, even if I'm in between jobs or looking for a job, now I've already built that muscle of, I know I can figure out a way to make money, to earn income on my own, with or without that.
Well, let me ask you this here. Because it's people, watching the show, and they thinking, I'm sure I'm not the only one that's on this show that have not heard that scenario before, and the way you put that. So for somebody that might be thinking like, okay, wow, that makes sense. I would love to do that. How do you encourage somebody, or how do you tell somebody, or how do you show somebody how to transition from the traditional way? Because I think we all can be in agreement that the traditional way of giving kids, saying that the kids earning money is doing chores around the house. Mm-hmm. But the way you lay that out, I totally agree with that. So what's the best way to, if somebody wants to transition to that?
Yeah, I think you have to. I think the best thing is always going to be, right, like knowledge is power. And so I think ultimately what you have to start doing is you're going to have to start weaning them off. So you can't wake up, like, let's say yesterday was Friday, right? And you gave them, $20 for the week because they took the trash out every single day. You can't wake up Monday morning and be like, oh yeah, by the way, you're not getting $20 this week, right? Because that's going to send them in the shock, right? That's going to send them in the shock.
Right.
If you're a parent and you're in that field right now, I think a good way to go about it is to say, all right, here's the deal. Over the next 30 days, like, I'm gonna keep you on your allowance, but or whatever, but in the next 30 days, we're gonna start having conversations, right? 30, 60 days about how we really make money. What does it mean to earn income? Mm-hmm. What are your interests? What are you excited about? What do you like to do? What things do I have to do, right? So for example, in my case, there were certain tasks that I knew, hey, if I didn't want to do this task, I would have to pay somebody to do it. So if that's the case, right, hey son, you can do it, right? Like if it's shredding of papers, if it's, reorganizing this, if it's, so you find little odds and ends, and really what it isn't even so much about the 5 or the 10 or whatever you're paying them. It's more about the lessons of, you don't work, you don't eat, because that's just a true mantra, right? Every single one of us on this call, we work so that we can be able to take care of our family. So it's like having those conversations about, hey, here's the deal. As a family, we got to make sure that the family is well taken care of. And part of taking care of the family is taking the trash out, making up the beds, doing this, that, and the other. And so here's what we're going to do over the next 30 to 60 days. I'm going to start showing you some different ways to make money. Okay. And with that, after we learn those kind of different ways to make money, your chores are going to be your chores. And then the way you're going to make money moving forward is by the different tasks and things that you do. And that way you're still making money and the house is still being taken care of. Does that sound good?
Man.
Yes, it does.
All right. That makes sense. And then you're tangibly in there with them, coaching and mentoring on, all right, look at that. Oh, wow, you did that. Look what happened. You got $10. Okay, cool. And then we'll go take that trash out.
That part.
Hey, the dishwasher wasn't loaded. You know what I mean? So you're kind of doing those.
Sometimes the challenge in that may be that, as a parent, you're trying to figure out, well, how do I teach them how to, earn money? I can't think of those ways either. A really practical way to do that is to read through the book Rich Kid, Smart Kid Together. That's a Robert Kiyosaki book based off of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is for adults. And you can read it together as a family or with your children. And then there's this really cool game that our friends actually got for their family. And we were like, oh, this is so cool. It's called Cash Flow Quadrant, but it's a board game and it's teaching them the lessons of financial empowerment and also how to earn income.
Right.
And so that's a kind of a practical way to walk through those 30 days.
Yeah. Absolutely. Good information. I know about the game because we was actually talking about getting the game. Go ahead, GB. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to piggyback off of that, Sean, about the board game. Yeah, that's where I was going as well. I mean, Monopoly.
That's a good one.
Now,
Five,
Miss GB,
6 years old.
serious about Monopoly over here.
Oh no. Well, what about the money situation? But what are you purchasing?
Yeah.
Teaching them. You don't see sneakers on here. You don't see shirts and shoes.
Assets.
That's good.
Yeah.
Now you're purchasing land. You're purchasing a building.
Yep.
You're purchasing something that is useful to you. That is a long-lasting item.
That's good.
Not something that you step off out of the store and in 2 seconds it's ripped and you're done. So the second part of that is, what are you purchasing as far as quality items? Are you purchasing something that's just going to last today, or are you purchasing something for a longevity? Put your money to use in purchasing something that's going to last you a while. That way you don't have to use the same money we're giving you for the chores every single thing. So as you said about weaning off of, that's was a process that I used as well, as far as weaning off. Go ahead and up. And every January 1st, we would sit down and say, what did you do last year? What needs to get upgraded this year? What do you have now? What's the next step now? What are we doing?
Yeah.
And we look back over the last 12 months and make a new plan.
That's good.
And since we're monopolizing it, because I'm a Monopoly player myself too,
Yeah.
And so
I love Monopoly.
Another thing, Monopoly, those type of strategy games teach you is strategy. Not only like GB says, what you purchasing, but it teach you how to purchase. What you do first, what you do second, when to trade. When to
when to get a loan. All that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And our kids are lacking these fundamental things. Especially it's been. I'm sure everybody have been seeing in the news. Since the pandemic. Our 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, 3rd, 4th, 5th graders, they're behind, on these things like that. They're behind in their academics, they're behind in reading, writing, and arithmetic, and spelling, and stuff like that. There are kids literally now that can read some things, but they can't spell what they read,
Right.
And a lot of that to do with going back to the cell phone issue, when we put the cell phone in their face and allow that to be the babysitter, and it's taken away from the education portal over here. You got this education portal, and then the more time they spend on this using these devices, they're pulling away from being in that education portal. But if you take those devices, they have nothing else to do but read a book.
Right.
Write some poetry or draw some awesome art, or something like that. And I appreciate you guys because that's really I have learned a lot. Nobody else has learned anything from this show today.
Yeah,
I have got my nuggets.
Great show.
Yeah.
Great show.
Yeah. Great topic. Great topic. Good.
This was really good.
Great host.
Like I said, I'm going to just end with this. Being raised in Jamaica and during the summers as a child, I looked at my cousins with what I'm bringing them as gifts down from here, and it's like they like the gift, but it's because they never had it. They don't miss it. You know what I mean? So here in the States, we have so many things. We can get this and get that and get this. Yeah. When I go down there, it's like, okay, that's nice, but we don't need that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
absolutely. Well, you guys, what you got, Miss Katrina? You and Sharon? Y'all good?
I'm good.
We're good. I mean, great topic.
Wonderful.
Great. I've learned a lot. I've taken in a lot today.
Thank you for having us on.
Yes, it's great
we appreciate
topic.
it.
I think we can probably do a part 2 of this because there's so much more we can talk about. So, but what about you, Sharon?
You know how they say I'm full, y'all.
I know that's right.
Come on.
I would, just going back to the chores, how to what are some things children can earn when doing chores? Like what AJ brought, like that was like, I greatly appreciate that, because I was saying to myself, like, I know, you know, when you're starting something new, it takes like time so the kids would know. Because in my head of AJ, I was thinking, hey, next week I'm gonna start that.
Hey, everybody's cut off 24 hours.
I'm glad you came back around.
Your dad and I going out for the weekend. We got some extra money.
Yeah. Listen, I'm glad you came back around. Right? I'm glad you came back around and let Sharon know that she can't shock all these children at one time.
I always remembered, and I'll leave us with this: the greatest hindrance to change is immediate change. Right?
Wow.
Immediate change. Yeah. You know, and if you think about it, right, you could take a frog right now, you throw him into a boiling pot, he's jumping out. Yeah. But if you just lay him in some cold water and you cut that heat up, right, he'll sit there all day long, meaning he'll take it. So when you're trying to get people to change, a lot of times introducing concepts gradually, right, will allow them to sit in it, right, to where the old way will die off and the new way will come alive.
Yes. Absolutely.
So with kids especially, building that into their repertoire, and then making it a conversation and making it light and really introducing it as, no, this is a good thing. Like, look, I'm gonna show you how to do it versus just giving it to you, right? And in that, it'll bless you for life, right? It'll bless you for life. So
absolutely. Hey, you guys, on that note, I know we could go on all day with this.
We could.
Unfortunately, it's time to wrap this thing up. And so this has been good. And we got to bring this around again. I know this month has been Family4Eva, but you guys always have a spot on Let's Conversate with Josh and Sharon, you know, and we love you for being a part. We're taking out your time on your busy Saturday and giving us an hour of your time, and we're grateful. And to our audience, we are grateful for you all tuning in. You guys are faithful. We just love what we do, you know, and we're going to continue this because, like I said, we don't have all the answers.
No, we don't.
And we don't even try to have all the answers, but we know someone that does have all the answers, and that's Christ Jesus. So we just like to have dialogue. And we like to talk about things, as Miss Katrina says, that a lot of people don't want to talk about. And so we bring those issues to the table, not coming to the table as if we just got the cure. We come to the table just to talk about it and give people food for thought. You know, we all have our opinions and sides of things, and some people can take nuggets from what we got and use it into their life. One thing about Bruce Lee was a master at looking at all different forms of martial arts, and he took all those different forms that he's seen in martial arts and he combined it together, and he came up with his own thing. And that's why he was so great at what he did, because he took the nuggets where he needed to take them, and what that he didn't need, he left it for someone else. So I would say this here: take what you need, and then what that you don't need, then you can leave it for someone else. All right. So all I guess we just thank you again for being a part of the show.
Thanks for having us.
Glad to be on.
We will stay in contact. So we're sending everybody to the green room, and we'll be right back there with you guys in a minute. All right.